So we are in the week of Valentine's Day, and I thought it would be fun to do a lovely, fun Valentine's Day bouquet with a heart for the ribbon and just a variety of some really fun colors. I'm just convinced that February is a great reason, with all of the dreary weather, to use really fun, bright colors, have a little bit of chocolate, and indulge in lots of pink and hearts and flowers and all the wonderful things that just bring some sparkle and sunshine to our life. So enjoy painting with me. You can paint this in about 15 minutes and makes a fun gift for someone else, maybe your Valentine or just for yourself. Hi everyone, we are back this week with a really fun Valentine's Day bouquet. Now it doesn't have to be Valentine's Day, but it is going into Valentine's Day week. I'm seeing pink everywhere. I thought, you know what, let's just indulge and make a Valentine-inspired floral bouquet. You know, I'm seeing all sorts of flowers, and I think, again, like I said in last week's video, I am pretty much convinced that Valentine's Day is the hallmark holiday invented in the dreary month where we're all so terribly eager for spring, and it's just not here yet. So Valentine's Day is a great way to infuse pops of color, have a reason to go out and buy some flowers, and eat some chocolate. So we are not going to put any chocolate in our art today, but maybe if you're gifting this to somebody, you might want to send it along with some chocolate. So I am not quite sure who I am going to send this to yet, but it's going to be super cute. Now I am using a pink for my main pop of color. You might want to use a red if you have a preference for red. As you can see, I am going to go ahead first and I am adding it. I'm going to add a little bit of red to my pink. I just think it gives it a little bit more of a pop. I'm going to put my bow on, or my ribbon, and my little heart holder right there. I just wanted a way to make that pop real quick, and I'm going to do a little bit of splattering. So I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to go and splatter some pink around. I know we're all busy in spite of it's winter and a little bit colder, but man, the to-do list doesn't slow down, but it doesn't take a long time to create really fun art. Have a few minutes to relax, let go of the day. Take a deep breath, make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, depending on what time of day it is. And if you're like me, you might drink coffee all day long. I'm going to go ahead now and start laying down some of my flowers. So I have really been enamored with tulips. In fact, I just recorded what I'm calling my tulip masterclass. So if you're interested in that, that's going to be coming soon, and we are going to be painting tulip portraits. And I love creating floral portraits, and I'm going to be doing a series of them this year. Lots and lots of detail, a lot more detail than I normally can do on a YouTube video. So that's coming, but I have just been painting lots of tulips, and I am seeing all the tulips in the stores right now, and I'm not sure where they're coming from because it's too cold locally to grow them. I'm assuming I actually should do some investigation. Next week or later this week, I am going to go out to the Flower District, which is on 28th Street here in New York City, and pick up some more flowers. And I'm excited about that. There is such a beautiful array of flowers there, and the whole street's filled with them. You turn and your nose is just filled with floral scents. It's just so much fun. Now be careful with, as you're laying down the green and mixing it with the pink, it will turn to brown. So just be aware of that. So I'm using both a hooker's green, and then I have a permanent green, which is a really springish green. Since I'm doing a lot of pink, I want to just create a little bit of a lighter, just a more of a spring color palette. So I've also got snapdragons here. I'm going to just lay down some of the green for the snapdragons, and I'm going to go ahead and just move some of that green down and around, and then we'll let it dry as well so I don't end up mixing my colors here. I have a variety of flowers here. So I've got the tulips, I have snapdragons, and then I have some peonies as well, or some kind of those peony-esque flowers that are not quite blooming. I have some wildflowers in here. It was really just kind of a variety of what I'd seen. I was in a flower shop this morning getting a cup of coffee in between some work meetings, and the roses were gorgeous, just gorgeous. But I always think roses are a bit more harder to paint quickly. I just feel like I need to sit and just soak them in for a little bit. So I thought we're gonna leave the roses out of our light spring Valentine's bouquet this morning. So I kind of like the idea too of having our flowers more freestanding. They're not in a vase. They're almost as if we're extending them out to someone. I'm gonna go down here where I have this big green, the big stalk or the largest stalk for the tulips. I'm gonna go ahead and I just need to make sure I keep that here. So make that a little bit bigger down here where it meets at the end. And I've got another stalk right up here. So just to make sure you're laying down the big areas that you don't want to get other colors in. Because sometimes that happens to me. I start painting and then I realize I've painted over a stalk with a bunch of color that I didn't mean to. So we're gonna just do that color blocking now. I'm gonna go ahead and bring out this stalk as well. Okay, lovely. So I've got those ones in. I'm gonna add just a little bit more green up here, down here. And you know, I am gonna splatter just a little bit more. So I'm gonna do some splattering actually just a little bit in this corner and then up here, just a little bit, not tons. And I'm gonna go ahead and wash out my brush really, really good now. I'm gonna grab some more pink and I'm actually gonna grab some yellow and then we're gonna add some pink to it. So I've got some lemon yellow over here. So I'm gonna pick that up and I am gonna start just dropping that where my snapdragons are. So I'm gonna just be popping that down. And with snapdragons, hopefully you can see, I'm gonna bring the camera in just a little bit more so you can see how I have the two little, almost a heart shape above, and then you almost do like a upside down elongated heart below. They're such fun flowers and they're so quirky, right? I just love snapdragons. So I'm gonna go ahead, I've got these guys out here. Actually, I need to do some more green. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up some of that pink and I am just gonna drop pink into them. I had seen some really pretty snapdragons that were multicolored. They were pink and they were yellow and then they were pink and yellow. So I don't know how they had hybrid the colors in, but it sure is fun. I'm gonna grab a little bit more pink because I want these a bit pinky. If it turns orange, just pick up more pink and dab that in. And adding up here. And remember, this is a watercolor sketch. This is not a watercolor portrait where we're trying to be super exact. So I'm gonna add a little bit more in here. Okay, that looks cute. I think that's lots of fun. Now, I've got a couple of tulips over here, and I think I do wanna make those really pink, kind of the pink too, that I made my heart. So I'm gonna go ahead up here and start laying down some color. Remember with watercolor, it dries lighter. So if you wanna add a depth of color, we're just gonna add a little bit more pink to it. And I'm gonna go ahead over on this tulip over here as well and do that nice bold pink. And I'm gonna pick up a little bit of purple and add that to my pink. And then dip that in where I see some shadowing. Right over here, that looks great. And then on my heart too, I'm gonna pick up some more pink and just add in some more color where I've got my ribbon coming around in the back of that ribbon. I'm gonna add just a bit more of that magenta, so we're adding really some depth here. Now I've got some really fun, almost some of those peony-esque flowers. So what I'm gonna do with those is I'm gonna pick up that same purple that I used for the shadow, and I'm gonna just go ahead and real lightly, I'm gonna make some nice, beautiful lavender purplish flowers. Aren't those pretty? Again, we kind of have a pink, peachy. We do have that orange, which I love too, just going on here. And I've got another flower right over here, and I'm gonna make that one a purple one down here. Now this one that's kind of leaning over here, I think I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make that one, they're all gonna be purple. And then the other snapdragons, I am gonna once again make them yellowish pinkish. So I'm gonna rinse that out. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my yellow again, and I think with the yellow, let's go ahead and do a little bit more splattering. We're just gonna splatter that around. I'm even gonna splatter right on top of where I'm gonna paint. And I'm gonna pick up some more paint and right over here. All these colors look so pretty together. And once again on my snapdragons, I'm just gonna start laying down some color. Now I see too where I need to go back and add a bit of green, and I'm gonna grab my smaller brush for that. But I am just dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. And if you wanted to leave them yellow, you certainly could. But I do want just a pop of color here. So I am gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pick up some more yellow. I'm actually gonna mix it in with the pink. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start adding that in just in different areas. And you can see I'm not being real precious about this, where I want it a little bit bolder. The sketch that we did underneath, that really makes it, that makes it pop a little bit too. That's kind of the way I quote unquote cheat, is doing that sketch with the pen, because it cleans it up for me. Okay, I love that. Okay, so much fun. Grab a smaller brush if you're painting along with me. Actually, before we do that, grab some more yellow and the pink. Let me make sure you can see this really well. And then do some of that orange and splatter that around too. Isn't this fun? It's very much a freestyle painting. You cannot help but kind of fall in love with these colors. In fact, I'm going to grab some more pink here, because I just want some more pink splatters and make them really bold. I am going a bit heavy on my splatters, but it's Valentine's Day. Everything's a bit overdone, right? Okay, go ahead and grab your green. I'm going to come back underneath my tulip here, and I'm going to pull that in. That stem that I didn't have done. I've got a stem over here. Now, a way to add some variation with your green too is we can add a bit of purple to our stalks. I don't want to introduce any more new colors, so I'm going to pick up just a little bit of purple. And I'm going to come over here in a couple areas where I just want the purple to pop, or the stalk to be a bit darker. It might be in shadow because of where it is. And then even down here, to differentiate a few of these, I'm going to go ahead and create that shadow, and then I'm just going to go over it with some green. So if it looks overly purple, either pick up a little bit of a color with a dry brush, but most likely just go ahead and take some green over it. And we're just creating some shadowing, as well as helping to just create that pop, that depth, because remember, we want our pictures to really have a lot, have a two-dimensional to them. We don't want them, as much as we possibly can, we don't want them to be flat. So I'm just going to add in a little bit more color right up here. And then finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do a little bit more on my leaves, my stems down here, which came out really cute. I'm going to just simply add a little bit more purple into some of my flowers. So down here where I had the peony-esque flowers, kind of poppies, I'm just going to add a little bit more color there. Over here in this tulip, where I can tell there was some shadowing because this light would be coming down over that way, I'm going to add in some purple, but then I'm going to come back in with just some pink. And we're just going to make that pop here. I'm going to make it pop here in the center. I'm going to come over here in my snapdragons and add just a little more color. And then last, certainly not least, I'm going to take that pure purple and right over here, just a few splatters. And there we go. Super cute, super fun. Now you can let it dry, and if you'd like, after it dries, come back in, and then you can add in a little bit more detail. So for example, I might come back in and do a little bit more sketching. We've also left a nice area around it where you can go ahead and write a note to someone. Right after this, I actually have a bunch of other Valentine videos queued up for you. If you want to keep painting with me, I'll include the rose one as well as some other Valentine bouquets. So enjoy and have a wonderful Valentine's Day.